Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So the mix of emotions that happen during a trade in the NBA, I don't really think there's anything quite like it. Like, I'm just gonna paint you a quick picture here, okay? Imagine that, let's just toss out some names. Tell me if you would do this trade or not here, man. Let's imagine you traded Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverly, Leonardo Balbormo, Walker Kessler, Jerry Vanderbilt, 4 first-round picks, and a pick swap. Just some random stuff there. And let's say you acquired, I don't know, Rudy Gobert. All right? And let's say your team is the Timberwolves, okay, man? So a year ago that happens. You're on cloud 17, man. You are just happy. But now we view that as a finesse. But what's worse than that? What's worse than a finesse is this. Lopsided draft trades, man. Thinking that you're in this moment where you about to trade, you know, a guy that you just drafted, thinking, wow, this guy's garbage, man. But then it turns out to be like Jason Tatum, okay? Or it turns out to be like, who else was traded on draft night? Rudy Gobert, bro. Donovan Mitchell. Don't worry, those guys. Yeah, they were drafted by Denver. And then I think they were traded to the Jazz. Yeah, man, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, man. My Pistons, thankfully, have never made a bad trade in NBA history, so we're good here. But I don't really know those emotions. But yeah, let's get this. Let's get it.
The most lopsided draft
Let's
trades
go.
of
Let's go.
all
Let's go.
time.
Let's do
We're
it.
talking basically any trade that has to do with the draft.
All
and
right.
in this video, I guarantee you're gonna remember that some players weren't originally
And not the
drafted
military
as you
draft,
thought they
just the
were.
NBA.
And you're gonna find out
Or
something
NFL.
you never knew that would have changed
Goal
NBA
lines.
history as we know it. Like with our first example. So back in 1976,
Goodrich.
Hall of Famer Gail Goodrich left the Los Angeles Lakers as a free agent to join
More
the
like
New
bad
Orleans
poor.
Jazz. And all was good with that, but due to league rules at the time, the Jazz had to give LA compensation for taking their player in free agency. So the Jazz sent over 3 first-round picks.
Okay.
One in 1977, 78, and 79. Well, in only his second year with the Jazz, he tears his Achilles, so they then go on to finish with one
Oh,
of
that's
the worst
unfortunate.
records in the league,
That's not
which
his fault.
actually turned
Injuries
that
happen.
1979 first-rounder that the Lakers now owned into the first overall pick,
Ooh.
which, wait for it, the Lakers used to draft
Magic Johnson, man.
So yeah, that
Wait,
one hurts. The Jazz
wait.
could have had Magic Johnson.
Thank goodness this man went to the Los Angeles Lakers.
But for as bad as that was, the Denver Nuggets have done pretty bad over this past decade because they made 2 franchise alternate
Oh, here we go.
trades that
This is
are
gonna
just
be it,
fun to
isn't
look
it?
Back on because they drafted both Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell.
Hey, there it
but then
is.
Traded them away for nobodies. The duo that led the
All right,
Utah
Flight.
Jazz into multiple playoff runs, the Nuggets just traded away. Back in 2013, Denver.
Wait,
took
who were the
Gobert
nobodies?
27th overall, but then traded him right away for Eric Green. Rudy Gobert.
This man's name is Eric, and he's got a K in it, man. That is a nobody, bro. If you were to put a definition of Flight, the rest of the nobodies, they would be Eric Green with a K, bro. Man. You don't need to be there. It's still Eric.
For Eric Green is about as bad as it gets, or so you would think, because then 4 years later in 2017 they draft Donovan 13th overall and traded him right away for Tyler Lydon and Trey Lyles, 3 guys who combined only ever had 1 season scoring in double digits, while Rudy
Trey
and
Lyles
Mitchell
been
combined
nice
for 13
on the
seasons
Kings.
in double digits. I understand this happening once, we're gonna see that a lot throughout this video, but to happen twice within a 4-year span is just so hard to look back on. But speaking of things happening twice,
All that for 2
here's
first-round
a guy caught up on the
exits.
lucky end of that. But I also mentioned that they gave
Sorry.
up Magic Johnson, but they weren't done there because just 6 short years after trading away the pick that became Magic Johnson, they actually drafted Dominique Wilkins 3rd overall.
Human
And
highlight
when he
reel.
refused to play power forward like they wanted him to, they traded him away for John Drew, Freeman Williams, and $1 million in cash.
Million
What's now
bucks?
considered to be one of the most lopsided NBA trades of all time. So just think, the Utah Jazz could have had themselves a duo of Magic Johnson and Dominique Wilkins.
That would have been
But it
sick.
gets worse
That
because
would have
3
been
years
sick.
later, both Karl Malone and John Stockton were drafted to the team. So we're talking a big 4 of Magic,
No,
Wilkins,
see, I don't work that way though, because you know, like Magic, and if they would have also ended with Dominique, they would have made the team so much better. Like the situation to get those guys wouldn't have been there.
Stockton and Malone had Utah played everything right. Now this next
Yeah,
one's
that
not
wasn't gonna
nearly
happen.
as bad. I don't know if any trade is, but it still hurts and is actually hurting a team right now. And that was for back in 2017 when the Boston Celtics had the first overall.
Yeah, we talked
pick.
about this
The
too.
Philadelphia 76ers
I saw the
traded
thumbnail,
up
man.
and
I saw
got
the
first
thumbnail.
overall selection in exchange for the 3rd and a
I love
future
Markelle
first-rounder.
Fultz.
So they were drafting first overall that year and selected Markelle Fultz. Then the Celtics drafted Jason Tatum like they had
Yeah, the
planned.
thumbnail's on the right side of my screen. It's got Cam, Magic, Tatum, and Donovan Mitchell. I don't know the rest of it. I don't know the rest.
Already. They just moved down because they knew the other two teams weren't going to take him. But this one's just so painful for Philly. Not only did you have an opportunity to draft Jason Tatum and chose Markelle Fultz instead, but you traded an extra pick.
And they kept Ben Simmons over Jimmy Buckets.
First away from Markelle, and we all know how that one's turned out for both sides. It was actually just a year later that another terrible draft day trade took place because teams just never learn. And it was when Luka Doncic was traded for Trae Young and first. I've talked about this one a lot recently, so I won't waste.
It's worked out for both sides.
The Dallas Mavericks clearly won this trade. And speaking of the Dallas Mavericks, a lot of people
forget
that
I guess.
Mavs legend Dirk Nowitzki was actually drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks, and the deal couldn't really have gotten any worse for Milwaukee because they traded Dirk Nowitzki and
Tractor Trailer, man,
Dallas in exchange for the 6th overall pick, Robert Trailer.
Tractor Trailer.
Played 7 seasons in the NBA,
Beast.
averaging 4 points a game.
Oh.
And Dirk became an all-time.
Ain't no beast, man.
It's just weird to think about
that tractor's on empty.
Because after this deal, the Bucks only made it out of the first round in the playoffs one time for the next 21 years until Giannis led them to the Eastern Conference Finals against the eventual champion Toronto Raptors just recently. Aside from that, they were a pretty terrible team for a long time.
Yeah, I still can't believe the Bucks gave up. I mean, this might be worse than trading Robert Tractor Trailer for Dirk, bro. They gave up 5 second-round picks, man, for 4 minutes of Jay Crowder in the playoffs.
Comes back to this one deal and not having Dirk Nowitzki on their team. But actually, that one time in 21 years that the Bucks did make the playoffs was through the lead of Ray Allen, who only ended up getting to Milwaukee in the first place because of another.
Michael Redd never got to playoffs?
Trade. You see, we have to go back to the 1996 draft where the Bucks took Stephon Marbury 4th overall. Well, immediately afterwards, Ray Allen was drafted by the Timberwolves, and himself and Andrew Lang were traded for Stephon.
Andrew Lang, that's the name sound familiar.
Ray Allen and Stephon Marbury were traded for each other. And as we know, Marbury wound up being a good player on bad teams, had attitude problems, and eventually got kicked out of the NBA.
Great player in China.
Great
player.
Better,
Legend.
Had a better attitude and eventually became a multiple-time NBA champion. And the crazy part about this one is that the Wolves had just drafted Kevin Garnett the previous year. So within 2 years, they drafted both Ray and KG, and were that close to having them as a duo together before they ever eventually got together 12 years later. We would have gotten to see them both in their primes, and who knows what happens to Minnesota from there. But as we mentioned, this all took place in
they would have messed it up,
which is crazy because a little later that night, another.
I mean, I guess they did, right? They did. So
Hornets drafted Kobe Bryant and then instantly traded him to the Lakers for Vlade Divac. And this is one of the most popular ones, so I won't spend much time on it. But it just always gets me because it was
I mean, this is a bad trade.
And the fact that Divac only played for them for 2 seasons while Kobe did what he did always makes it that much worse. I made a point though to not say it was the most lopsided draft trade ever because I had to reserve that spot for this next one, which was when the St. Louis Hawks drafted Bill Russell 2nd overall, and then immediately traded him to the Celtics for Ed McCauley, who was an all-star at the time, and Cliff Hagan.
Related to Macaulay Culkin?
But nobody's when you compare their legacies or even their name.
Could have been his grandfather, man.
There was no luck involved in this one because Boston drafted 3 Hall of Famers that night, including
traded Bill Russell for Home Alone, bro.
The Atlanta Hawks with 11 NBA championships and made known as one of the better franchises in the league today had they not have made this trade. But it seems like the Celtics have always had guys in charge who knew exactly what they were doing, and it's how they managed to get Bill. And that one's another one that's a little more well known. Most NBA fans will know that one, but I'm sure a lot of fans may have forgotten that Kevin Love was actually drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies.
I know this one. Was it OJ Mayo? Because Rudy, I think, was Rudy there? He came up next, I think. Yeah, I think it was OJ.
After he was selected, himself, Mike Miller, Brian Carter.
Oh, wait, that's a haul. Oh, Antoine Walker, Marco Yarick, Greg Buckner, Brian Cardinal. This man was a 72 over. No, this man was like a 68 overall on 2K. Jason Collins. Not John Collins. Yeah, Jason Collins. He played on the Nets, didn't he? And then you got Mike Miller, 6-man, Kevin Love. All that for some orange juice and mayonnaise, bro. Wow.
And Jason Collins.
What a trade. What a trade.
In exchange for OJ Mayo, Antoine Walker, Greg Buckner, and Marco Jaric. Now listen, Minnesota without a doubt won this deal.
I love that Memphis team, though.
Mike Miller was included in it. And even though the team was still terrible as a whole after it went down, and they never made the playoffs with Kevin Love, the deal itself was definitely the rare win for them. And speaking of Kevin's, the deal that brought in Kevin McHale.
Kevin. We love Kevin.
Any in this video. You see, back in the late 70s, the Warriors had been struggling for a few years, so they wanted a fresh fresh start. So they traded Robert Parrish and the 3rd overall pick in that year's draft to the Celtics for their 1st overall pick and the 13th.
Joe Barry.
And with those picks,
And not even John Barry.
Joe Barry Carroll and Ricky Brown. Their 1st overall pick, Joe Carroll, had some good years, averaging 20 a game and was a one-time All-Star, while Ricky Brown was basically a nobody. But then you look at the Celtics side of things, and with that 3rd overall pick, they draft Kevin McHale, who became a 2-time Sixth Man of the Year, a 7-time NBA All-Star, a member of the 75 greatest players of all time, and a Hall of Famer. While Robert Parrish also thrived after the deal and became a 9-time All-Star and a Hall of Famer. And due to the fact that both
Bill
men teamed up
Laimbeer
with Larry Bird, they all won 3 championships together. While again, Joe Barry Carroll was a 1-time All-Star. So yeah, Golden State really couldn't have made a worse mistake in this situation. The Indiana Pacers made a pretty bad mistake
Kawhi.
when they drafted Kawhi Leonard 15th overall. Then immediately traded him away for George Hill, who was a role player before this trade and stayed one afterwards. Not too sure what Indiana was thinking or even seeing in him, but it cost him a superstar Kawhi, who
he was a
2-time Defensive Player of the Year.
I will say, like, it's easy to look back and like see how things worked out since, but at the time, Kawhi was a rookie, like it's unproven guy, which I guess all these guys are in this case. But I mean, a point guard, coached by Greg Popovich, like, no, that's still not worth it. I can't even talk that one up. I really can't. I tried.
Finals MVP.
Sorry, Pacer fans.
Have seen this duo of defensive-heavy small forwards play together over 10 years ago.
Yeah, Danny Granger.
And speaking of defensive-minded small forwards, back in 1987, maybe one of the most important lopsided trades of all time took place when the Seattle SuperSonics drafted Scottie Pippen 5th overall, then immediately traded him for Olden Polynice. Had Pippen and Jordan never teamed up, Jordan never has the amount of success that he did. And
what was that man's name?
If this trade doesn't go down, we may not be referring to MJ as the greatest of all time, and maybe the dominance of the Bulls in the 90s never happens, because Scottie was that guy that allowed Michael to take his game to the next
Bad Boys
level.
would have had 10
and
rings.
Just for reference, here's a list of Scottie's career achievements, and here's a list of Olden Polynice's career achievements.
It's nothing there. That's all we got for this video, man. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful night. Whenever you're watching the video, remember to subscribe. Peace out, my friends.